50 years. It's been 50 years since the Milwaukee Bucks have been champions of the National Basketball Association. This is a franchise that has seen its fair share of disappointing seasons, heartbreaking moments, and wonder if it would ever find prosperity. Yet, through sheer determination and perseverance, a franchise that was once ridiculed as an NBA castaway is now the home of the Larry O'Brien NBA Championship Trophy. So why is it so hard for people to give them the respect that they deserve?
That does it. The Bucks with the 115-111 victory over the Brooklyn Nets.
He feels better in a bigger shoe. That's why it always slips off. So literally, if he was wearing the right size shoe, the Nets are going to go to the conference finals and be right now the favorites to win the title.
Walk-off playoff
that
shots.
Nobody will remember.
Okay.
It wasn't a walk-off. He lost.
He had a tenth of an inch. He had his toenail over the three-point line. The game would have been over.
Skip, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation if Go James and AD hadn't been healthy. We wouldn't have been having this conversation.
If Kevin Durant's foot is 1 centimeter behind the three-point line instead of directly on it.
And this team still almost advanced, except it was the big toe of Kevin Durant.
But you know, there is the idea that Durant is wearing a shoe too large for his foot, and that might have made things different.
Oh,
you know what I'm
saying?
saying?
All the time.
You know what I mean?
I say it all the time.
I'm trying to show y'all, this was a game that went to overtime in a game 7 and was a big toe away. Thank God that Kevin Durant had that big toe, or we were having a different conversation.
It's hard to watch these sports shows as a member of a small market team, i.e. my Milwaukee Bucks, because it's just nauseating. It's exhausting trying to get through any segment where they're trying to cover your team in a fair fashion. The Milwaukee Bucks just won the 2021 NBA Championship, yet for some reason, we cannot mention their success without bringing up Kevin Durant's foot. Everybody done turned into a Foot Locker expert apparently, because if it wasn't for Kevin Durant's shoe or whatever the heck's going on, the Bucks would be at home just like every other team. Except that's not true. But you wouldn't know that based off what everyone is saying on TV. But then I realized that they're not here to provide any nuance. They're here to simply minimize the success of the Milwaukee Bucks. If you're a true fan of the team, you probably want to hear a different perspective other than, oh, they're lucky that Kevin Durant. Shut up. Kevin Durant is a phenomenal basketball player, and I'm not here to take anything away from him. But please stop disrespecting the Milwaukee Bucks, because they still could have won that game, even if Kevin Durant did have on the right shoe size. Bear with me. Now, before I get started, let me say one thing. There are valid reasons why one can believe that Kevin Durant almost single-handedly took out the Bucks in the 2021 NBA Eastern Conference semifinals. Coming off an almost 2-year hiatus due to a torn Achilles, some folks were weary of what Durant could do his first season back from injury. Those concerns, though, were soon put aside once Kevin Durant looked as lethal as ever during the regular season, and the expectation became clear. Durant was coming for the throne. In the 7 games against the Bucks, Kevin Durant averaged 35.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. Absolutely insane numbers. His Game 5 performance, where he delivered a crucial Nets victory while having a near 50-point triple-double, will no doubt go down as one of the greatest playoff performances of all time. If anyone had any doubt about who the best scorer in the league was, they were convinced after this series. KD was a phenomenal basketball player who put up extraordinary performances in even more legendary moments. Now, that being said, let's not get carried away. Kevin Durant hit an all-time great shot in Game 7, but there's some very important context that's being left out in this KD foot bad take. The shot clock. Quick study break. If you look up the term revisionist history, you'll learn that the term identifies the reinterpretation of a historical account. Now, when used as a criticism in everyday conversation, Revisionist history refers to conscious, intentional misstatements about things in the past. Why bring this up? Because I believe this is exactly what is happening to summarize the end of regulation of that Game 7. Folks are practically rewriting history. Ladies and gentlemen, once Kevin Durant made that ridiculous jump shot and the refs deemed it to be worth 2 points instead of 3, the game did not jump directly into overtime. The Milwaukee Bucks had possession, believe it or not.
With 1 second remaining. 1 second left.
Crazy, right? It's almost like that part didn't happen. Even had the shot been worth 3 points, the Bucks' fate had not yet been sealed. The Nets would have had a 1-point lead, whereas the Bucks would have possession and 1 second left to take back control of the game.
Wait a minute. Didn't the Bucks miss that shot, though? I don't understand your point.
Let's entertain this notion for a while. If you believe that all situations are created equal, then you probably haven't watched sports before. Taking a free throw in the final moments of a close game is a lot tougher than taking a free throw in the first quarter. Hitting a home run while the bases are loaded gives you more points than hitting a homer when they are empty. I could go on and on, but I think you get the point. Had Durant's shot been worth 3 points, that would have changed the situation for the Milwaukee Bucks. Instead of overtime being the worst outcome, elimination would take that place. Now, I can't guarantee you what would have happened had the Bucks been down 1 in that situation, but there's 2 decent things that could have happened that would have been positive for the Milwaukee Bucks. The first one, Chris Middleton doing what Chris Middleton did the entire playoff series, and that was get buckets. Like, I dare someone try to tell me straight-faced that Chris Middleton wasn't capable of sending Brooklyn home at the end of that Game 7. The first game of the playoffs, the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Miami Heat, Chris Middleton hit a game winner against that same team that kept him pretty much quiet all last playoffs. Chris Middleton answered the bell when Giannis was injured against the Atlanta Hawks, and when every time he was called upon, this dude rose to the occasion. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that Chris Middleton is Mr. Consistent and can give you 40 points a game, but during this magical run,
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Chris Middleton has had 15 game-tying or go-ahead field goal in the fourth quarter or overtime in this single playoff run. 15 in the last 25 seasons. Only one player is rival to Chris Middleton when it comes to game-tying or go-ahead field goals in the fourth quarter or overtime. There's only been one other guy to do it, and that guy was named LeBron James in 2007. And if that doesn't do it for you, just look at what he did against the Nets himself. He scored the final basket in overtime that gave the Bucks the go-ahead lead. This guy is and was capable. Don't sleep. But Chris Middleton is only one man. Imagine if the Bucks took advantage of the biggest advantage that they didn't use the entire series, their size. This one doesn't need much of a deep dive if you really think about it. The Bucks were, and still are, much bigger than the Brooklyn Nets. Brook, Giannis, clear size advantage, 1 second left on the clock. We've seen what can happen in this playoffs when a team has a clear size advantage and an opportunity to score with less than a second left. I wonder why do I have that feeling like I just saw that?
Crowder looking, throws it alley. Oh! He puts it down! He puts it down! It's over! And they're trying to say goaltending, but that's a live basketball. He can finish.
Okay, that's a whole lot of woulda, shoulda, coulda there, pal.
Exactly.